Alright, first things first, we're going to have a look at Pythagoras, Pythagoras theorem. So one thing to know about Pythagoras is it only works on right-angled triangles. So let's just look straight at the theorem straight away. First of all, we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's Pythagoras theorem. Now, all these things represent specific things on a right-angled triangle. So a squared and b squared, we're not going to worry too much about right now. C squared is the big one we're going to look at first up. That's the hypotenuse of the triangle. Now the hypotenuse is always two things. First of all, we have our triangle here is always opposite the right angle of the triangle. And the other telltale sign of the hypotenuse is it is the longest side of the triangle. So that's what C represents in a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now a squared and b squared simply represent the two other sides that aren't the hypotenuse. They are somewhat interchangeable. So let's have a look at this triangle here. We want to solve for x. Now the first thing we always do is figure out where our hypotenuse is. Well, that's going to be x, okay? The next thing we want to do is substitute the values we know into our equation. So having a look at this triangle here, we have 16 metres and 11 metres. Looking at our equation here, we know that's going to be our hypotenuse. So that is going to be x squared. I've just changed it just so I can keep track of it. A squared, we're going to make that 16 for the 16 metres. I'm going to keep the units on. So that's going to be 16 metres squared. And b squared, we're going to use as 11 metres squared. At this point, any whole numbers I have, I like to square them out. So we're looking at 16 squared, which is 256, plus 11 squared, which is 121, equals x squared. Add them together, excuse me using a calculator, I just want to make sure I'm right. It's 377 is equal to x squared. Now we have a squared on this side. To get rid of the square root, the square on this side, we need to take the square root of whatever is on the other side to keep each side balanced. So I'm going to take the square root of 377 by pressing the square root button on the calculator, 377, and we end up here with, I'm rearranging to putting x on this side because equal means equivalent, 19.42 metres for our hypotenuse. And we know this can be a valid answer because this is bigger than 16 or 11, so it's a valid hypotenuse to actually have. Okay? Now, we're going to look at one more example using Pythagoras theorem. That's using this triangle over here. Now, the thing to note about this triangle is, if we look at our equation, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, well, we know our hypotenuse already, okay? So we're going to put in 21 metres squared, because remember, our hypotenuse is opposite the right angle. So we know the hypotenuse, all good. Let's have a look at a squared plus b squared. Well, what do we put into a squared and b squared? Well, we see we have 1, which is 17. So I'm going to put my 17 metres squared in there. But now we're left with b squared, and that's okay. We want to find b. We just need to rearrange at this point. Now b here is going to represent m, which is the value we're trying to find. So I'm going to write this as 17 metres squared plus m squared. I might actually change this and leave it at b, just so I don't get confused by the units, equals 21 metres squared. Let's take this over to the other side, but after we square them out. So I've got 17 squared is 289 plus b squared, and we have 21 squared, which is 441. I want to isolate b. So that will end up being b squared is 441 minus 289. To get rid of positive 289, we minus it from this side. Keep the balance, we minus it from this side. Alright, so we have 441 minus 289, which makes 152 b squared Now remember, we want to take the square root of this to get rid of our square. So square root of our answer of 152, B is going to be 12.33 meters in the end. Now, anything revolving around Pythagoras can be solved using this simple equation, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and you're all good.